Hey, welcome everybody. Here we are playing game number 44 in our Yankees 1985 replay. We are facing the Seattle Mariners in the Bronx, and it's game number 44. This is the replay one-loss record for the Yanks is 20-23. Hey man, OG, how are you, brother? I'm home from work today, man. I'm skipping. And the actual Yankee record to this point is 23-20. So the replay record is 20-23. The actual record is 23-20. We are backwards. Yeah, I bought a set of new cards. eBay, eBay. I like the design of these cards, and you can see them. You can see Jack Bricanti. You can see Ricky Henderson. I also have Mark Langston as a new player, and started already. What's up?
You making pizza for the back?
Yeah. And then Whitson is the only one that I wasn't able to print out yet. I have him on paper. I don't have him on card, so I decided just to use the old Whitson. But yeah, I just picked them up. They were $10 PDF for $10. Yeah, I liked it. It's large, and it's real bold ink in certain areas. I mean, I don't know. I just like the look of it. You know, you look at the here. Let me compare it to the Bricanti. Let's see. Let me slide it over so you can see it. Look at that. So you know, the numbers are all pretty much bigger. Plus, it has the average down here, 264, 2 home runs. It doesn't give that information here, so at least you can say something about the player. So that's it. So I got the Yankees, I got the Mariners. It was $10. I got the whole season. I got everybody. I mean, you can't beat it. I mean, I saw the '85 season. Yeah, exactly. Much easier to read. I saw the '85 season, the original '85 season, going for like they were asking for after shipping and everything. It was $61 or $62. I could buy 6 seasons of these. You know, I could buy 6 seasons. And why am I going to spend that kind of money? I told them, just give me the cards. I'll pay you $30. You can keep all the box. You can keep all that other stuff that's useless. They never responded, but they didn't sell it at $61. You know, somebody may come and buy it, but ultimately you use them. They wear down, and they start getting grimy and gray and kind of disgusting. And you can have brand new, cards and print them out as many times as you want. You can use them once and throw them out, print them out again or whatever. You probably don't want to do that just because of the wastefulness. But you could if you wanted to, and you'd always have brand new cards. I mean, my Yankees are getting kind of rough, if you will. They're kind of getting messy and ugly and little by little yellowy from the, your hands, fingers have natural oils, and that's the deal. All right, so let's get started. I'm going to play 2 innings real quick if I can, and then I'm going to pull something out of the oven so it doesn't burn on me. And we're using dice. I'm using 2d6 for the PB rating. I'm not doing the CD checks, and I'm not doing the defensive checks, the CD checks or the BD checks, the clutch batting. I'm not using those. So we're going to start off with Percani. And Whitson is a 2-6, and that's a 5, so it's going to be off Whitson's card. And now I'm using 2d8s, 68. That's going to be in the out range for Whitson. I'm going to pull a card to see. Percanti is an LN, lefty normal. Lefty normal is a lined right at the pitcher, and he holds on to it. One away, L1. Next is Phil Bradley. He batted .300 with 26 home runs in 129 games, so 159 games. So he had a really good season. That's a 7. That's going to be off Bradley. And 44, that's going to be a 44 is a strikeout. It's right there, 44. That's a K. So that's 2 out now for Whitson. And I'm hoping for Whitson to have a decent game because he really started off the season in poor form and had a 9 ERA through his first 7 or 8 starts, which was kind of frustrating. I'm not, But anyway, he's gotten it down to about 7. So hopefully he has a decent game. He'll get down some more. 5. That's going to be off Whitson. It's Ivan Calderon, batted .286 in 67 games. So he was kind of a part-time guy. It's a 43. A 43 is going to be a base on balls on Whitson's card. You can see that there, 43W. So runner on first, Calderon on first, 2 outs, top of the first. Seattle at New York, 1985. It's actually May 31st. 3, that's off Whitson. Kenny Phelps, 207 hitter with 9 home runs. And that's a 47. A 47 now is going to be in the out range. We're going to look at Phelps. He's an LP. Pull a card. It tells us it's a ground ball to the first baseman, Mattingly. Mattingly, very sure hands, and he takes it himself, out number 3. And we go to the bottom of the first. Okay, we had to reduce by 1. I forgot to do that. Okay, let me get into the rhythm. This is like a very rhythmic type of game. You have to really get into the rhythm of it. I'm going to turn these aside so I have a little bit more space to show everything. There you go. All right. All right, it's Ricky Henderson leading it off for the Yankees. And that's a 2, so that's going to be off Mark Langston's card. Langston's 2 to 5. He had a terrible season, 7-14 with a 5.47 ERA. So he was like a batting practice pitcher. And that's a 63. And that's going to be in the out range on 63. Oh, no. Wait a second. I'm looking at the wrong card. So I double checked that. So it's a 2. It's in Langston's card. A 63 is going to be a walk. 44 to 64, a walk. And you don't want to walk a guy like Henderson, that's for sure, because he's going to run on you. And we're going to reduce by 1. Henderson, wait a second. He starts off at an 18, and we're going to reduce by 1. He's at 17 now. Okay. So we're going to run with Henderson, an 83 on the chart in the upper right left-hand corner, 83, 73 to 88. Runner cannot get jump. So there we go. It's a 10 now. So now it's going to be off of Willie Randolph batting second. He's had a poor start to the season after 43 games, batting like 172. 57, that's going to be an out. That's in his RN in the out range for Willie. Could have done a pin. I could have hit and run with him. He's a pretty good player to hit and run with. He's a hit and run 2. So an RN is going to be a ground ball. It's going to be a fielder's choice to the shortstop if he can handle it, and he does. So it's going to be a 6-4. 6-4, and Randall's on a fielder's choice. Next is Don Mattingly. That's a 6. So that's going to be off of Mattingly's card. That's a 51 off Mattingly's card. That's going to be an out LP with a runner on first, 1 out. LP is a card hit ground ball right at the shortstop. If you can handle it smoothly and throw to first, 6-4-3 double play. They double Mattingly, and we go to the top of the second inning. No score. Now I'm going to run real quick and get that thing out of the oven. I'll be right back. Give me 30 seconds. All right, we're back, ready to roll. And it's top of the inning. It's Alvin Davis. He played the whole season, 155 games. And he batted .287 with 18 home runs. That's a 6. So that's going to be off Whitson's card. And that's a 38. That's going to be a base on balls. So Whitson is reduced by another one. Whitson has a base on balls issue for sure. And so Alvin Davis, not really a speedster, so he's going to be holding at first base and playing it 1 base at a time. And we're going to roll the 266 is 75, so it's probably in that range. And that's a 12 off of Presley, Jim Presley. Don't be cruel, but it's going to be an out. 75, it's an out range RP. I'm going to pull and see what that is. RPG6, so it's going to be a hard hit ground ball right at the shortstop. And shortstop is Andre Robertson for the Yankees. He handles it over to second. Randolph back to first. 6-4-3, DP, 2 out now. So Presley hits into a double play. Alvin Davis. Oh, I think that should have been Dave Henderson. But it would have been the same result. 75, it is the same result. Dave Henderson made out. Now it's Presley. My fault. I had a misconnection between what was on the scorecard and who was here. So now it's Jim Presley now. Okay. And that's an 8, so that's going to be off Presley's card. And an 85, that's going to be an out. RP. I have trouble picking up these cards, that's why I'm doing dice. And an RP is a pop-up to the left side. And third baseman for the Yanks is Dale Berra. He's there. Makes the catch for out number 3. And D. Colds, all right. So we're not going to go over on this side now. It's going to be Dave Winfield, the Dave Winfield. And that's a 6. So that's going to be off Winfield's card. Winfield has also had a tough start of the season, batting 180, I think, or something to that effect. 84, that's going to be an out range. And he's an RP batter, right-handed pull hitter. And that RP is going to say ground ball, it's pop-up to shortstop. And he has, it's a 10 for an out. Now, I doubt the shortstop is a 10. Shortstop is Darryl Coles. And he's an 8. He's an 8 shortstop, so that's pretty close to what we were looking at there. It was, what did we say it was? It was error, something very high. Yeah, whatever it was, I don't find it now. I don't know why, but anyway, yeah, so it's not, he's not, no error, so it's a 6. It was off of Winfield's car. 84 is an out. Let me see what's going on here. Totally missed. Oh, it was a 10. Okay, there you go. So it was a ground. It was a pop up to shortstop. One away here in the bottom of the second. Don Baylor. Don Baylor, one of my favorite players, did 231 with 23 home runs. Got a lot of home runs in this replay though. He's got about 12 already, and we're about not even 1/3 of the way through the season. Okay, so let's roll here. That's a 6. That's going to be off Baylor's card. A 17. That's a ball that's driven into the gap, and Baylor hustling around first into second base. The throw, and not in time. So Baylor with a 1-out double. Don Baylor doubles. Now Don Baylor hit a double in yesterday's game, and it was a walk-off game-winning double. So we're going to reduce the pitcher by 1, and we're going to check and see if there was an error. It was a double, a 17 was a double to the center fielder, and there's no error on that. So Baylor sits at second base, or stands at second base. Not going to sit there. All right, that's a 6. That's going to be off of Billy Sample. He played in 59 games, batted 288, so pretty good. 67 off Sample's card, and that's an out range. He's an RN, a registered nurse. So we're going to look here. It's a fly ball to left field. Nobody's going to advance on that, not in my world. All right, and maybe if it was a deep ball to left field, but then I even doubt it. Okay, so now with 2 outs. With 2 outs, it's a 5. That's going to be off Langston's card, finally. Butch Weiniger. He's a switch hitter, batting from the right side. 22 of 5. 22, and off Langston's card, that's going to be a single to right. And a single to right, and we're going to try to score. We're going to try to score Don Baylor. So it's a single to right. Single to right, and we're going to reduce by 1. And we're going to try to score. Now, Don Baylor, let's look and see what his rating is. Don Baylor is a speed of D, but there's 2 outs, so he's going to get a big modifier. D, the center fielder, oh no, it was a right fielder for Ivan Calderon, and he is a right field arm of E4. So an E4, looking at our chart on my left, an E4 against a D, or a T4, I'm sorry. Wait a second. I'm reading the wrong numbers. Ivan Calderon. Not an E4, I don't want to look at that. Throwing arm T3, I'm sorry. That's what, my brain went blank. All right, he's a T3, And against a D runner, T3, that's 11 to 42 plus the 20 for 2 outs, which there are 2 outs. So it's a 62. So we got to get a 62 for him to be safe at home. Otherwise, he's going to get thrown out. So Baylor hustling, and he's out at home. Beautiful throw and beautiful relay by the second baseman. Jack Perconti gets Baylor trying to score on the Butch Weiniger single here with 2 outs in the bottom of the second. And that'll end the inning. And it's going to be a 9, right? A single and then a third out single. It's going to be a 9-4-2 out at home. So that was an exciting play at the plate here. We go to the top of the third. Top of the third, it's going to be Darnell Coles, the shortstop. And that's a 10, so that's going to be off Cole's card. And that's an 84. That's in the out range, 66 to 88 RN. And that's a pop-up to the second baseman. I'm sorry, behind the plate, excuse me. And behind the plate is a Weiniger. He's there, makes the catch, 1 away. No score. All right, that's a 4. That's going to be off Whitson's card. And a 43 off Whitson's card is going to be a base on balls, his 3rd base on balls. And that's going to put Donnie Scott, not really a particular good base runner, at first base. So he's going to be moving station to station. And it's Jack Perconti. Perconti batted .264, played 125 games with 2 home runs. That's a 9, so that's going to be off Perconti. And that's a 16. Did we reduce? I'm not sure if we reduced. I don't think we did with the walk. That's a 9-16 off Perconti. That's going to be another reduction. It's going to be a single to center field. And with 2 outs, we're going to try to go to third on this to center field. Oh, no, we're not going to go. We're going to stop at second because he's a slow runner. First and second. And Ed Whitson's a righty. Yep. Okay, so runners on first and second with only 1 out. And you have Phil Bradley. Phil Bradley. And that's a 4, so that's off Whitson's card. And that's a 36, and that's a strikeout. Bradley goes down on strikes. Big strikeout. That's the 2nd time he struck out Bradley in this game. That's out number 2 now. And Whitson's 1 out away from getting out of this first and second jam, these 2-man on jam. And here's Calderon, Ivan Calderon. That's off of Whitson's card. And a 24 off Whitson's card is going to be a base hit to right field. So a base hit to right field. And that's, ooh, let's see if it scores. Let's see what kind of roll we have. And then we're going to check if it's a roll that, oh, he's out at home. He's out at the plate. That's Dave Winfield to Willie Randolph. And he throws out, what was his name? I think it's the catcher, Donnie Scott, who is a D, okay? And even with the center fielder being Ricky Henderson, who doesn't have a bad arm. Ricky Henderson, I'm not even going to look it up because I already know, but Ricky Henderson in center field, he has a T4 arm, so that's a pretty good arm. So he's definitely out with an 84 at the plate. So we go to the bottom of the third, still no score, so that's going to be a 9-4-2. It's deja vu all over again. 9-4-2. Okay. And it's going to be Dale Berra. Dale Berra is going to be leading it off for the Yanks in the bottom of the third. Let's roll. That's a 2. That's going to be off of the pitcher Langston. A 23 off Langston. That's a base hit to right. Base hit to right. And that's off Langston. So we're going to reduce by 1, but we're not going to check for an error on that. All right, so it's going to be Dale Berra on at first base. And next is going to be Andre Robertson. Now he's a BB sacrifice, and he's gonna sacrifice. So we'll roll the wrong one. So it's a 72, a sacrifice 72 under a BB, and I'm gonna have to move the camera. Unfortunately, I have to move the camera just a tad here to get to look at that. And that's a 72 under BB is 72. There he is. It's an error on the pitcher, all save, sacrifice credit given to the batter. So everybody's safe. It's going to be an E1. It's going to be a sacrifice. And no at bat. And Dale Berra goes to second. Andre Robertson is at first on the error by the pitcher. And it's going to be Ricky Henderson. Now, Ricky Henderson, I mean, he does it all, right? Ricky Henderson does it all. He's got 24 home runs, batted .314, played in 143 games, has a good arm, amazing speed. He's a double-A speed, so he steals bases, you know, with his eyes closed. So usually on an error, I actually reduce. I don't know what the rule is, but I reduce by 1 just because it's an extra batter he has to face now, because that would have been an out. Plus, it's the stress of having another guy on base. That's how I visualize this. Okay, so I kind of play that rule myself. All right, so it's Ricky Henderson, and that's going to be 4. That's going to be off Langston's card. And that's a 51 off Langston's card. That's going to be a base on balls. So the bases are now loaded for the Yanks here in the bottom of the 3rd. Mariners are in big trouble, as they say. And up to bat is Willie Randolph with the bases loaded. It's going to be a walk. We're going to do reduced by 1. And that's an 8. So that's going to be off Willie's card. And a 62, that's going to be, again, an out, but he may get some sort of sacrifice or something out of this. I don't know. We'll see what happens. A 62 against an RN. It's a fly ball deep left field, and that's going to be a sacrifice fly for Willie. So no RB, he gets an RBI, just no out, which helps his batting average. And scoring is Dale Berra. Everybody else is going to, you know what? I doubt that there's going to be I'm going to have to check the chart on this because bases are loaded. FD7, runner on 3rd scores, others hold. Yep, makes sense. So a sacrifice fly, RBI for Willie Randolph, and the Yanks lead it by a score of 1-0. Dale Berra scores from 3rd base. Next is Don Mattingly. Now Don Mattingly, I mean, he batted .324 with 35 home runs, exactly. So we're gonna reduce by 1 for the run there, and that's a 5. That is off Langston's card, and it's a 44 off Langston's card. That's gonna be a base on balls. So Langston has lost it. He's lost it here. He's given up a hit and an error, made an error. Now he's given up 2 consecutive walks. Bases are now loaded once again for Dave Winfield. Gonna reduce again by 1. And that's an 8, so that's going to be off Winfield's card. And that's a 68 off Winfield's card as an out. RP with the bases loaded. Let's see what he can get out of this. RP. And that's a GX2, which I don't even know how to play that, man. That is a highly unusual play, but it doesn't probably come up that much. So it's a little nubber in front of the plate, and the catcher is going to pick it up. And with the bases loaded, let's see what it says that he does with the ball. Does he step on? I mean, you would step on home plate at that point, and you would get the force out at home, right? So let's see what it says here. Unless it's too far from the plate. So that, I mean, that's infield. Infield was back. Oh, look at that. It's a GX. What? GX2. But we got to check for the error because maybe none of this happens. Yeah, there's no error. It's a GX2. So double play. Catcher fields a slow roller, steps on home to retire the runner from 3rd and throws to 1st. Okay, that's feasible. I've seen that happen. All right, so it's going to be 2, 2, 3 double play, and that is out number 3. And the Seattle and Langston were very, very lucky to get out of that inning so quickly. And that double play did it. Double play started by the catcher, and stepped at home and then threw to first to get Dave Winfield. And the Yanks scored but 1 run in an inning where they had the bases loaded twice. So we go to top of the fourth. It's going to be Kenny Phelps leading it off. Let's do that. Kenny Phelps. And that's going to be a 10 off Phelps' card. And that's a 33 off Phelps' card. And the 33 is going to be a strikeout. Phelps down on strikes, and that's a 3rd strikeout for Whitson. Whitson holding his own so far through 3 1/3. That's off Whitson's card. And that's going to be a 15. And that's going to be a base hit to left field, single to left for Alvin Davis. So he's on at first. Davis not much of a base stealing threat or even a base running threat. And it's Dave Henderson. He hit into a double play earlier. That's going to be off Henderson's card, and that's a 25. And that's going to be driven into the gap, into the right field gap. And hustling after it is right field Winfield. And stopping at third is going to be Alvin Davis. It's going to be second and third now. So Dave Henderson doubles into the right center field alley. And we have second and third, and Jim Presley's up. So we're going to have to do some reductions there. Reduce one for the single, one for the double. Try to stay on top of that. Let's see. Okay. Infield's back for the Yanks. It's a 7. That's going to be off Jim Presley's card at 34. And that, if you look here, 34, 7 off Presley's card. Don't be cruel. 34 is a deep drive, and he is a right-handed batter, a deep drive to left. Back goes Henderson to the track, to the wall. No, and it's out of here. Home run, 3-run home run for Jim Presley. And the Mariners take the lead now, and it's Whitson up to his old tricks. Whitson has a tendency to give up the long ball, especially when there's multiple runners on base. So we're going to have to reduce 1, 2, 3 plus the home run. That's 4. And this is the next batter. It's a 10, so that's going to be off Darnell Coles. 53 off Coles is base on balls. Only 1 out here in the top of the fourth, and Seattle, thanks to a 3-run homer by Jim Presley, lead it by a score of 3-1. Darnell Coles on at first. Another reduction. And that's a 3. That's finally going to be off Whitson. Let's see what it is. It's a 52 off Whitson. And that's going to be in the out range. And he's an SN, switch normal, and it's a G6A, which means it's a ground that is short and the runner moves up. So now the runner, Coles, is on at second. Scott is out. There's 2 away. And it's back to the top of the order. Jack Percani. And that's a 4, so that's going to be off Whitson's card. And a 31 off Whitson's card is a strikeout. Percani down on strikes. 4th strikeout for Whitson. But the damage has been done here in the top of the 4th inning with that 3-run bomb. And the Mariners lead it by a score of 3-1. So it's going to be Langston facing Don Baylor off Baylor's card, and that's a 35. And that's going to be a strikeout. Baylor goes after the high heat. And that is Langston's first strikeout of the game. Billy Sample, it's a 7. Sample's playing left. And a 7 off Sample's card, and 18, and that's going to be a base hit center field. Single to center field. And Sample, again, not great running speed, so he's going to go station to station. And we're going to have to do a reduction there. And that was off the batter's card, so we're going to check for an error. I sometimes forget that, but it's not the end of the world. Okay. Butch Weiniger batting from the right side against the southpaw Mark Langston on the mound for the Mariners. That's a 8, so that's going to be off Weiniger's card. A 72, that's going to be at outrange 72, and we're looking at an SN. Ground ball back to the first baseman, 3. And that's going to be a potential double play. We have 1 out, so that's going to be, and it's a 3-6-3 double play. Second double play for the Mariners. And that's all she wrote. In the bottom of the 4th, we go to top of the 5th. Moving along in this game. My food's getting cold. Phil Bradley is up. And that's an 11, so that's going to be off Bradley's card. Whitson on the mound for the Yanks. It's 3-1. That's an 18 off Bradley's card. That's a single to center. We're going to check for an error. No error. Single to center, so the leadoff man gets on first base, 8. And next is Ivan Calderon. This is going to be, so we're going to reduce that by 1. I don't know if we did already, but it doesn't matter. He deserves to get another reduction. 12. That's going to be off Calderon's card. And that's a 53. A 53 is a strikeout. You can see that right there. And that's strikeout number 5. Out number 1. That's a 9. That's off Ken Phelps. A 45 off Ken Phelps. And that's a strikeout. Number 6 for Whitson. So we'll double check that. 45. It is K. 2 out now. Running around first. And Alvin Davis. And that's an 8. So that's going to be off Davis's card. And that's a 22. And that's going to be a single to right. Single to right. And we're going to hold the runner. Let me see. Phil Bradley is. Oh no, we're not gonna. We're gonna run over there because he's a B, so he should be good. But we'll roll to C, and he is safe at third. Runners on first and third now. Runners on first and third, and it's Dave Henderson who doubled his last time up. Hit into a. So that's another reduction there. Oh, and we can check and see if it was an error as well. And no error. There you go. All right, 2 out, first and third, top of the 5th. It's a 7, so that's going to be off Henderson's card, and that's going to be a 55. A 55 is an outrage RP, and an RP is going to be a pop-up, and that's going to be Weiniger under it, F2 for out number 3. So the Mariners leave 2, get none across, and we go to the bottom of the 5th. Dale Berra is going to lead it off. All right, Dale Berra, it's a 10, so that's going to be off Berra. 22, that's lined, base hit, left field. So it's a single by Berra. He's on at first. He's 2 for 2 today. And Robertson batted 328, so we're going to let him bat away. 7, that's going to be off Robertson's card. We're going to reduce by 1. And we're going to check the error that we didn't check. And now we jump to this situation where it's a 7. It's off Robertson's card, but it's an 86. We rolled high on that, and that's going to be an out. A righty normal. It's a X1, so it's back to the pitcher, and it should be if there's no error, it's going to be a fielder's choice. So it's going to be a 1-6, and Robertson is on at first. Now Robertson does not have good speed, so he's going to play it safe at first, no base stealing, and not really advancing too much. So 1 out, Robertson's on at first in the bottom of the 5th. Next we have Ricky Henderson, that's a 3, so that's going to be off Langston's card. A 43, it's a strikeout. Langston strikes out Henderson. Curveball got him. That's strikeout number 2. And out number 2. And now we go to Willie Randolph. That's a 9, so it's going to be off Randolph's card, and that's going to be a 14, and that's going to be a line drive base hit to left field. And stopping at second will be Andre Robertson, so Willie Randolph is 1 for 2 on the day. Hallelujah for that. And then it's the always dangerous Don Mattingly. We're going to reduce, and we are going to check for the error. No error. So we're gonna. Here's Don Mattingly steps in the box. That's an 8. That's off Mattingly's card, and that's a 78. Boy, could have had an opportunity there. 78 is going to be an out LP. It's going to be a ground ball, hard hit ground ball right at the shortstop. And he throws to 9-10, and the shortstop I remember was an 8. So he just beats the error, and it's a 6-3, out number 3, and we go to top of the 6th inning. Moving along here, and it's going to be DC. Darnell Coles. Jim Presley. Darnell Coles. Oh no, wait a second. No, it's Jim Presley. Okay. Jim Presley hit the home run. Now, for some reason, I was thinking, okay, how can he be back again? All right. So Darnell Coles, let's see what happens. Jim Presley, that's a 4. That's going to be off Whitson's card. A 32 off Whitson's card is a strikeout. Presley down on strikes. That's revenge. That's what you call revenge. Out number 1. Next is Darnell Coles. It's an 8 off Coles' card. A 15. That's line base hit to right. Single to right for Coles. Reduction. Error. It's a little bit of a rhythm. And now next is going to be Donnie Scott. That's a 7. That's off Scott's card. And that's a 26. That's a deep drive to center field. Back goes the center fielder Henderson to the track, to the wall. Looks up. It's out of here. 2-run shot. Again, a home run allowed by Whitson in a close game. This time it's to Donnie Scott, the catcher, who hit 4 home runs all season. We rolled a 26, and if you look on the batter's card, it's a 26. Donnie Scott, the catcher, homers to center field, and it's a 5-1 ball game now. And we're going to have to reduce all the way to adios for Whitson. And we're going to bring in Fisher, Yankee Fisher. Brian Fisher's coming in. And yep. And that's all she wrote for Whitson. Gives up 5 runs and is pulled here in the top of the 6th inning. It's going to be Jack Perconti leading it off. Now Fisher is an RR of 6. And we're going to roll. He's a 2-8, so he's a pretty decent pitcher. That's a 6, so that's going to be off Fisher's card, a 57. That's in the out range. Perconti's an LN. An LN is a line back to the pitcher, and potential error caught by Fisher. L1, so out number 2 now. And next, oh, wait a second. Did we make a... Oh, no, that's right. Now it's Phil Bradley. And that's a 9, so that's going to be off Bradley's card. A 64 off Bradley's card is the outrange RP. That's a ground ball to third base. Dale Berra up with it across the diamond and throws out Bradley. 5-3, but the damage has been done. That's the 3rd out, and the Mariners pick up 2 runs here in the top of the 6th on 2 hits, and they lead it by a score of 5-1. And now we're gonna shuffle. I'm known for my shuffling skills around the globe from my croupier days at the Taj Mahal, Donald Trump's famed Titanic, in which he lost absolutely not a penny. And basically got away with paying anybody anything for all the work they had done. And I'm doing my amazing... I also work as a magician doing card tricks, and I do a lot of shuffling maneuvers that usually hypnotize the crowds, the audience. And as you can see, I have the sleight of hand, if you will, and I'm amazing at this. This is just a natural ability, genetically inclined for this. Okay, so now we've done that, and we're going to flip them over. I don't know what that means, but I don't know if that was the way I originally had them. Who knows? Anyway, we're in the bottom of the 6th, and it's Dave Winfield. The pitch from Langston, who's still in the game, that's off Winfield. And they can't get to Langston. The Yankees cannot get to Langston. That's a 57 on Winfield's card. And he's an RP. That's in the out range. And that's the RP. That's a ground ball to third. And that's an out. Third baseman Jim Presley over to first. Out number 1. Next is Don Baylor. That's a 5, so that's going to be off of Langston. 21, line drive, base hit center field for Baylor. So Baylor's on at first. Going to reduce there, and we're going to also check. I don't remember what. I think that was off Langston, yeah, so we're not going to check. All right, so here, who's up now? It's Billy Sample. That's a 6, that's off Sample. That's a 24 off Sample. That's going to be a line drive center field. Stopping at second is going to be Baylor. So runners on first and second. Runners on first and second for the Yanks with only 1 out here in the bottom of the 6th. Another reduction. And this is off Sample's card, so we're going to pull for an error. No error, unfortunately. All right, so it's who's coming up? Butch Weiniger. That's an 8. He's batting from the right side. So that's going to be off Weiniger's card, a 64. That's going to be an outrage SN, but it's a G1. That's a potential double play, and it is a 1-6-3 double play. And the Mariners are again out of the inning. And we're going to double check that with first and second, but there is no doubt in my mind. I'm still learning these boards. This is not my primary game, so I'm still learning these boards. First and second, a G1 double play grounder, runner on second. Yep. All right, so we go to the top of the 7th. Fisher's still in the game, and it's Ivan Calderon leading it off. Calderon off of Fisher's card, a 57 off Fisher's card is an out range. Calderon is an RP. That's a ground ball to Berra, over to first, 1 away, 1 out. Next batter, Ken Phelps. That's a 9. It's going to be off Phelps' card, and it's a 14. Righty versus righty, 14. And that's a... Oh, wait a second. Wow, look at that. What? Take a look at this, guys. A 9, it's off Phelps, right? Look at his 14. His 14 is a home run. Ken Phelps, a left-handed batter. That's a deep drive to right field. Back goes Winfield to the track, to the wall. It's out of here. Home run. The 3rd home run hit by the Mariners today here at Yankee Stadium. Ken Phelps delivers, batting 4th from the DH spot. And it's next is Alvin Davis. We're going to do a couple reductions there. 1, 2 on Brian Fisher, who's a pretty good pitcher. It's a 7. That's going to be off Fisher's card. An 88, righty versus a lefty. Righty versus a lefty, 88 is a single up the middle. That's going to be another reduction. We play the modifier. It's a left-hander. It's called the left versus right element variable factor chart. Yeah, exactly. All right. So next is going to be wait a second. DH. Yep. It's going to be Dave Henderson. Dave Henderson, we reduced there, so we're good. That's a 7. That's off Brian Fisher. That's an 83. That's going to be an out. Henderson is an RP. It's a G5. That could be a double play. And it is 5-4-3 double play. And the Yanks give up another run on the home run by Ken Phelps. And we go to the bottom of the 7th now. It's a 6-1 ball game. So it's going to be Dale Berra leading it off here in the bottom of the 7th. Langston's still in the game. That's an 8. So that's going to be off Berra. A 38 off Berra is a strikeout. Number 3. Strikeout. And now it's Andre Robertson, an 8. That's off Robertson's card. And a 33 is a line drive to right, base hit. He's on at first. Next is Ricky Henderson. Ricky Henderson, that's going to reduce here by 1 for Langston. And that was off of, we're going to check for error, no error. Okay. That's an 11 off Henderson, and that's a 46. 46 is going to be a base on balls. Henderson, Ricky walks. First and second now with 1 out. It's another reduction, and it's Willie Randolph. Off Randolph's card, and that's going to be a 12. And that's going to be a base hit to left field. So the bases are going to be loaded. They're going to hold the shortstop, Andre Robertson, at third. Bases loaded. And we're going to check for an error. No error again. And now with the bases loaded here in the bottom of the 7th, Mark Langston is down to 2 spots, 2 points on his pitcher reduction card. And he's going to be facing Don Mattingly. Lefty versus lefty. That's an 8. It's off Mattingly's card. This is where he can come up big. It's a 35. And if you look closely, let's double check. We rolled an 8. It puts it on Mattingly's card. And a 35 is a deep drive. Bases loaded, deep drive to right field. Back goes the right fielder. Ivan Calderon to the track, to the wall, looks up. And it's out of here. Grand slam, home run for Mattingly, and that brings the Yanks within 1 run here in the bottom of the 7th. So Mattingly showed up for sure, and is a big clutch situation, and that's going to knock Mark Langston out of the game, and it's going to bring in Stanton. Mike Stanton is going to come in. Let's see if we can find him. These are all our pictures from our new cards. All right, there we go. $10. I got a whole set of whole season of new cards, man. Come on. That's living it up. That's living life. That's living large, man. RR6. You go online. I forget Dave. Dave something. I got him from Dave. I don't know. Can't remember. Big Dave. That's it. Big Dave. That's what he's called. So the Yanks are within 1 run. It's 6-5 here, thanks to the grand slam by Donnie Baseball, Don Mattingly, here in the bottom of the 7th. And we go to Dave Winfield. My food is cold now. Took it out of the oven, and now I'm going to have to put it in the microwave, right? That's like defeating the whole purpose of putting anything in the oven. Okay, so Dave Winfield is up against Mike Stanton. And it's, let's see. Okay. It's going to be an 8, so that's going to be off. Stanton is 2-6. So that's going to be off Winfield's card, and that's a 65. That's going to be an outrange RP. That's a grounder to second. Now it's 7-10, error 7-10, second baseman is Perconti. Perconti is a 1, so he's a pretty good second baseman. So he's going to field it cleanly for out number 2. And next is Don Baylor, one of my favorite players. Originally, when he was a young guy, man, he had the speed, he had the power. Never really a very good fielder, so he wasn't a 5-tool guy, but he was one of the guys that could really run, was big, was strong, could hit home runs, and could really run. That's a 4, so that's going to be off Stanton. 36 off Stanton is a strikeout. So Baylor down on strikes. And that's going to be 1, 2, that's going to be the 3rd out. But the Yanks pick up 4 runs on 1, 2, 3 hits and a walk. And the score now is Seattle 6, Yankees 5. So this has turned out to be a pretty good ball game now. Brian Fisher's still in there. This is his, you know what? We can bring in somebody else. Let's take a look. Who's going to come up It's going to be Presley's coming up. Presley is a righty. Who can we bring in here? Usually the guys they always bring in are the same guys. Rich Bordy, Ron Guidry. Don Cooper can come in here. I'm bringing Don Cooper. I usually bring in the guys who actually played in this game, but I don't have access to that. But I know, well, you know what? The two main guys were Brian Fisher and Bordy, a guy named Bordy. Oh, let me show you. This guy. These were the two main guys for the Yanks. Rich Bordy. He pitched in 48 games. And then, of course, Dave Righetti, who was their closer. Where's Righetti? We're not ready for Righetti yet. Not ready for Righetti. Righetti was in 74 games. So let's go to Bordy. Let's not wear out. That's an 8. Excuse me. Let's not wear out Fisher. And then in the 9th, if there's any action, we'll bring in Righetti if we can get the lead. All right, so it's going to be Jim Presley. Let's roll. That's an 8. So that's going to be off Presley's card. A 36. That's going to be a strikeout off Presley's card right there. 36. One away now. Next is Darnell Coles. He is the shortstop. Not a very good fielding shortstop. First shortstop I've seen with an 8 error at short. That's a 9, so that's going to be off Coles. That's a 63. That's going to be a walk off Coles' card. You can see it right there. Pretty high walk number, 63. But he walks, so he's on at first. And next is Donnie Scott. So that's going to be a reduction by 1. And that's a 5, so that's going to be off of Bordy. Bordy's a 2-7. And that's a 52. A 52 is an outrange SN. SN is a pop-up to the left side. That's going to be Berra there for out number 2. And we flip it over to the top of the order. It's Jack Briconti. That's a 6. That's going to be off Bordy. A 12 off Bordy. He's a righty, and Briconti is a lefty, so that's going to be a hit. And that's off Bordy, so that's going to be a 12, a single to left. Stopping at second is Darnell Coles. First and second, 2 outs. And it's Phil Bradley coming up. So that's going to be a single. We're going to reduce by 1, and we're going to, I think that was off Bordy, I believe. Yep, so I'm not going to check for the error. Here's Phil Bradley. That's a 10, so that's going to be off Bradley's card, and that's an 18 off Bradley's card. That's going to be a single to center. Single to center, and DC is I believe, a C speed. So we're going to write that down. Hold on. Single to center. And we're going to reduce by 1. We're going to check for the error. No error. Now we're going to decide if we want to try to score him. At second base, it was Coles. Coles is a OBR speed of C. And it was a single to center. That's Henderson is a 4. So second to home on a single to any. So it's a 4C, 11 to 42. But with 2 outs, it's 62. We can try to score him. So we need less than a 62 for him to score, and it's a 44 safe at home RBI single. And on the throw, runners are both going to advance. So it's going to be second and third now. So it's going to RBI single. Scoring is Coles. And it's second and third. And it's going to be Ivan Calderon. Ivan Calderon, and that's going to be another. We're going to have to reduce again. So we reduced once already. We reduce again for the run. And it's a 7-5 game now. So this is not good for the Yanks. So bases second and third. Ivan Calderon is a righty versus righty, so we're going to pitch to him. It's a 7. That's going to be off Bordy. And that's a 16, not what you want to see. That's going to be a single to center. The runner on second now is Phil Bradley, who's a B speed. And a single to center, that's going to be a 4. A B, it's going 146. 1 to 66. 1 to 66. And that's everybody's safe. So around to score is Perconti. And followed by Bradley. And it's a 2-run single by Ivan Calderon. And it's now a 9-5 game. And next up is going to be Ken Phelps. Now we got to do some reductions. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3. So he's down to 1. So let's see if he can get out of this inning. Now that was a 4. That was off, I think, Gordy's card. 8. That's going to be off Phelps' card. And 31. Off Phelps, a 31 is going to be a strikeout off Phelps' card. Phelps has an unusual card, for sure. It's a second strikeout, out number 3. 1, 2, 3. 3 runs on a walk and 3 hits. And now we go to the bottom of the 8th. It's 9-5 Mariners. The bottom of the 8th, the Yanks are going to bring up, let's see, Don Baylor. It's Billy Sample, Butch Weiniger, and Dale Berra. So Langston's still in there. Hard to believe. That's a 7 off Sample, and that's a 28. It's a ball driven into the gap, and Sample around first, into second, underneath the tag. And that's going to be a reduction of 1, and since that was off Sample, going to check for the error, no error. So it's a leadoff double for Billy Sample. Next is going to be Butch Weiniger. That's off Weiniger, and that's a 14. Weiniger is a switch hitter, so that's not going to be a lefty-righty thing or lefty-lefty or any of those. It's not going to play. It's a single, and Sample's going to stop at third. There's nobody out. So first and third, going to reduce, and we're going to check. And nothing. And first and third now for the Yanks, and it's going to be Dale Berra. That's a 6. So that's going to be off of... Oh, wait. Oh, I thought Langston was in there. It was Stanton. So, okay, so that 6 is off Stanton's card. It's a 44 off Stanton's card. That's going to be a base on balls. Bases are loaded for the Yanks. Nobody out. Bases loaded. We reduce again. And it's going to be Andre Robertson, who we're going to let hit because he batted .328 in 50 games. We're definitely going to let him hit. That's going to be off Stanton. And that's a 48. It's going to be a base on balls. So there's going to be 2 reductions for the walk and the RBI. Picks up an RBI on a walk. Bases are still loaded, nobody out for the Yanks. Crowd is excited here at Yankee Stadium, as you can tell. So here's a pitch from Stanton to Ricky Henderson, who has tremendous power, and it's off Henderson's card. A 32-36 is a ball that's out of here, and it's not. It's a 73. So that's RP 73. Still can get a sacrifice fly out of it. An RP is a F8 with the bases loaded. Let's see what that becomes. F8. OBRA on third scores. And who was that? On third, it was Weiniger. He is definitely not that. So that's going to be a fly ball to center, out number 1. And next is Willie Randolph. So Willie has an opportunity here to drive in some runs. Yanks are down 9-5. Bases loaded, 1 out. That's a 9. That's going to be off Randolph. And that's a 15. That ball is lined left field. In to score is Butch Weiniger. So left field, just in case I need to know that. Butch Weiniger scores. And Dale Berra Doesn't have really good speed, and there's no point. They're going to hold up Dale Berra. Bases are still loaded now, and it's Don Mattingly who hit a grand slam in the 7th inning, is up again with the bases loaded here in the 8th inning, and that's going to drive out Mike Stanton. And we're going to go to grab players that actually pitched in this game. So another, let me see. Relief pitcher, Roy Thomas, Edwin Nunez. So Nunez, let's see if I have a lefty. Don't have a lefty here. Brian Snyder pitched in, no. Need somebody who pitched in a bunch of games. 20 games in relief, long, but he's Geisel. He's the closest guy to a lefty. Definitely want to bring in a lefty here. Let's see if there's any lefties. Mirabella, he pitched in 10 relief games, so he can pitch. Lefty Vanderberg. I'm wondering if this was their closer. Should we bring the closer in the bottom of the 8th? Yeah, you know what? I'm going to bring in the closer, if he's a closer, but he looks like a really good choice there. I don't know if I have him. Let me double check if I have him in the new cards. Do I have him in the new cards? There he is. And this will tell us a little bit more. Oh, no. Okay, so he was the type of guy that would come into this kind of... He's not really a closer, if you will. Not a closer. Let me put this original card back. But he's a guy that you bring lefty-lefty kind of situation. So it's going to be a lefty Vanderberg. Ed Vanderberg is going to come in to face Mattingly. Vandyberg, yeah, Vanderberg, 2 words. And he's going to pitch there. And here goes. Bases loaded, 1 out. Right now, it's a Yanks have scored 2 so far. So it's a 9-7 ball game. And it's Don Mattingly with the bases loaded. At first, you have Dale Berra. At second, you have Andre Robertson. And at first, it's Willie Randolph. And Don Mattingly, who in the bottom half of the 7th inning, in his last at bat, connected for a grand slam. He has an opportunity to do it here again. Let's see what happens. Now, Don Mattingly, first we have to see if it's off Mattingly's card. That'll give him an advantage, and it is. Vanderberg is a 2-7, so we just beat that. So we were lucky to beat that. So it's a 2. It's going to be off Mattingly's card. Now we need to roll a 35 to a 42 for a home run. Oh, 61. That's going to be in the out range, LP. Infield is back, and that's going to be a ground ball to second base. That could be a double play, and it is 4-6-3 double play. And Seattle gets out of trouble big time with this double play, and that's exactly what baseball is all about. So now it's a 9-7 ball game. We go to the top of the 9th. The top of the 9th. Vanderberg is an RR of 4. So, all right, and we brought in Bordy. Did Bordy give up all those? Let me see what Bordy did. Bordy came in. Oh yeah, Bordy's a mess. He's down to his last batter. Let's see what happens here. It's going to be not Ken Phelps. He struck out. It's going to be Alvin Davis against Rich Bordy in the top of the 9th. 6, so it's going to be off Bordy. I'm looking forward to the Yanks at bat. So if we can hold him, 51 off Bordy's card, it's an out, and he's an LP. LP is F9. That's a ball lifted to right, and right there is Winfield, 1 away. All right, Dave Henderson, 77. Okay, we're going to keep that. And it's going to be a 3 off Bordy. A 77 is the out range. That's going to be RP. And that's a ground ball back to the pitcher. It says 2, but I make that a pitcher because I can't have the catcher getting more grounders than the shortstop. So that's a little pet peeve of mine. So I changed that. I actually changed that. I didn't write on it, but on other cards that I have, I kind of wrote on it, and I just changed that to a 1-3, which is more realistic for me. I don't know. They seem to have a lot of outs to the catcher, but ground ball. So he's like he's equivalent to the shortstop and second baseman, and that's just not so. I see one of those maybe every 10 games where the catcher picks up a ball and throws them out. Okay, maybe I'm exaggerating. Maybe every 5 games. All right, next is going to be Jim Presley. Okay. And you know what? We're going to pull a card this time. We're going to pull a card just to change it up. It's going to be a PB of 9, so it's off Presley. And the random number is an 86. Righty versus righty. 86 is going to be the out range. And he's an RP. That's a ground ball back to the pitcher, Bordy again. And he feels his position for out number 3. All right, we're in the bottom of the 9th. It's a 9-7 ball game here. It's going to be Dave Winfield, Don Baylor, and Billy Sample. Pretty good game. So the Yanks are only two runs away after being down 6-1. Now I'm going to look for the closer. I'm going to look for the saves here. One save. 16 saves for this guy, Edwin Nunez. So we're going to bring him in. Edwin Nunez, that's who I have right now. So Nunez is going to come in, and Nunez is ARR3. So Nunez is going to come in for the save. Okay, here goes. You know what? We're gonna do our technique here. One more time. Bottom of the 9th, 9-7 ball game. And it's Dave Winfield steps into the box against Edwin Nunez. It's off Winfield. It's an 8. Nunez is a 2-7. And it's an 85. Righty versus righty. So that's going to be an out. Righty versus righty. It has to be a ground ball back to first. And that's going to be a ball handled by Nunez. 1 away. 1-3. Next is Don Baylor. And that's a 5. So that's going to be off of Nunez. And that's a 67. Off Nunez is in the out range. Baylor's an RP. It's a ground ball second base. No error. So it's handled easily by Perconti. Good hands at second. And now the Yanks are down to their last out. That's a 9. That's going to be off of Sample. 72. That's in the out range. He's an RN. And that's a deep fly ball to left field. Back goes the left fielder. Bradley to the track, makes the catch. Game over. Game over. Final score. Seattle 9. Yankees 7. Now this was a hit fest. Yanks had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 hits. Yanks had 14 hits. And did they make any errors? Not that I can see, no errors. Seattle had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 hits. So 27 hits combined. And there were Seattle made 1 error by the pitcher Langston earlier in the game, and that was going to be it. That was it. So the final line score: Seattle 9 runs, 13 hits, 1 error. Yankees 7 runs, 14 hits, no errors. That's a combined total of 16 runs on 27 hits and 1 error. So we can't say we did not get our money's worth. May 31st, 1985. Sitting in a chilly Yankee Stadium with box seats. I paid $109 for my box seat. Now they're about $1,500, and that's about it. The win, I believe, will go to Langston, who hung in there for a while. He hung in there until, I believe, the 7th inning, and he was up. So he's going to win. The Yankees, of course, hit that home run off him and drove him from the game. but that only made the score 6-5. So Langston is going to get the victory. He was 7-14 that year. Whitson is going to get the loss. Again, the Yanks never. So Whitson continues to have a tough time of it. Whitson went 5 and 1/3, and he gave up 5 runs, all earned. Yeah, 5 runs, all earned. And so that's not going to help his ERA at all. It's going to go up. It's at 7.5. It's going to go up to 8 probably. So anyway, we were hoping Whitson could do a little better to bring his ERA around 5, where it actually was, but it wasn't meant to be today. So we're going to set up another game and probably play the last part. I don't usually play whole games with Statis Pro because I use my phone for iScore. Right now, I scored paper pencil on my right, so I was able to take my time and run a whole game. It ran about an hour, 10 minutes, which is a little bit long, but you know what? I listen to a lot of these as I drive, and it doesn't matter to me how long they go because, I drive, I get to work. It usually takes me half hour, and then I just pause it, and when I get back to go home, it's another half hour, and I just listen to it that way. So anyway, that's Status Pro using dice. As you can see, you can decide for yourself if you want to try it, if you want to change it, if you want to modify it. That's always cool. I think OG, you've been hanging out, so nice to see you, and I'll talk to you